What's good, YouTube, and welcome to another KaibaHacksDartz Yu-Gi-Oh video. Today, we're back with the Jowls of Drak Demise deck profile, deck list, deck update, whatever you like to call it, for November 2024. Now, this is one of my favorite cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! I call him the fourth god card, because he's just so spicy. It is Jowls of Drak Demise. He's a beautiful little monster, a flip, and it is take control of one of your opponent's monsters. Take control of one monster on your opponent's side of the field, until the end of this turn that this card's effect is activated, and when that controlled monster attacks, it may attack your opponent's life points directly. So, you're taking control of an opponent's monster, and you're attacking them directly with it. That's basically the tech of the deck. I like him, he's pretty fun. And some interesting trivia about Jowls. He isn't actually the Jowls himself. He is the little creature inside of the Jowls that is kind of using the head of a monster as kind of like a crab shell. Very interesting. I recommend you look up his full full design. But we're running 3 of him. Now, to help bring him out, we are running a lot of different flip spice, some Tindangle stuff, some Subterror stuff, some Crawler stuff. But we'll start with the Tindangles here. We got Tindangle Jarelith. And what he does is flip. You can take one flip monster from your deck, except Tindangle Jarelith, and either add it to your hand or send it to the graveyard. And if this card is in your hand, you can discard one other card and send one Tindangle card from your deck to the graveyard, except Tindangle Jarelith. And if you do, special summon this card in face down defense position. So he's obviously just a tech to get any flip monster that we have in the deck, which we have a lot of different spice, but specifically if you need Jowls. And of course his other techniques, if you need to maybe bring out some extra monsters or you're trying to wall off a bit, something of the sort like that. Next we are running 3 Tindangle Angel, and I love this card. It is flip. You can special summon one flip monster from your hand or graveyard in face down defense position. So of course, if you have Jowls or something else to line him up, you get to bring it out. Then, if it is your opponent's battle phase, end the battle phase. So he's also kind of a battle fader effect. So hopefully you can just pop off into getting that Jowls next turn or whatever tech from the deck you're using. Next we have 2 Crawler Soma, a great flip monster support card. It is you can target one face-up monster you control and special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, change the targeted monster to face-down defense position. So you can just normal summon whatever, and then get it face-down with him while bringing him out. And also, it cannot change its battle position for the rest of the turn. During your main phase, you can reduce this card's level by 2 or 4, and if you do, special summon crawler monsters with different names from your hand, deck, or graveyard, whose total levels equal the amount of reduced in face-up and or face-down defense position. So you can bring out more crawlers for more flip effects, and or to just use them for extra deck plays or whatever. Some extra spice, and I love this card as well. It is the World Legacy World Armor. When a monster is flip summoned, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can add one World Legacy card from your deck to your hand. And if this normal summon / set card is on the field, quick effect, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls that was special summoned from the extra deck, and return both that monster and this card to the hand. So obviously it's got some recycle power to it, but also you can use it to search out World Legacy pawns, which we'll talk about later, as well as more copies of itself, or if you have in some other World Legacy stuff, there is a few cards that could tech in with it. So great little piece for searching some stuff and just bringing out some extra beef. Next, we have some one-offs of crawlers just to work with Crawler Soma's effect more kind of actively. We have Crawler Axon. He basically just destroys her spell or trap. Oh, and they also have all the smaller crawlers have the ability to special summon 2 crawler monsters when this card leaves the field because of an opponent's card effect. They all kind of do that. So Axon is flip, destroy a spell or trap. Next we have Crawler Spine. He is basically your man-eater bug. He just targets one monster and destroys it. Same secondary effect. And then we have a Galil. You can special summon one crawler monster from your hand or graveyard in face-up attack or face-down defense position, except Galil. So you could use this to bring back maybe some Somas, or kind of just recycle whatever plays to get it back off again. Now you can run more or less of the crawler stuff and kind of work in what you think, but that's what we got. Next, we're running 2 morphing jars. This is a great way for some removal, and to also, bring out more flip monsters. You can also get some pretty weird kind of cycles going with Morphing Jar. But you could keep kind of cycling through until you get the specific flip monsters that you may want on the field, or something better than your current situation, and or just to clear their field. Marshmallow is our last main deck monster. Just some random kind of stall power, slash a little bit of burn damage, just to help out. And that is the main monsters. Moving into the spells, we have a great flip monster piece. This is Terrors in the Hidden City. Your opponent cannot target face-down defense position monsters you control with card effects, and monsters you control that were flipped face-up while this card was on the field gain 1500 attack and defense. If this card in its owner's spell and trap card zone is destroyed by opponent's card effect, you can target one monster in your graveyard and special summon it in face-down defense position. So obviously some recycle power there at the end, but a lot of different stuff to use for walling and just getting in with attack of your various flip monsters. Plus something spicy you can kind of do with the next card, Book of Moon, that we have here, is if you are to, say, Book of Moon their monster, and you have a Jowls face down, and then it gets to the next turn, you can flip your Jowls, taking their face down monster that, say, maybe has a bunch of attack, and then once you flip him up, he will be able to still attack directly because of Jowls, but will also gain the 1500 attack and defense while he's on your side of the field. So you're getting in that extra 1500, and of course he can attack directly. So that could get that boost in, especially if they have a really chunky monster. It helps out. And then of course the Book of Moons at 3 can be used to recycle your flip monsters, stop attacks. They're pretty versatile for the flip stuff. Next, we have 2 Naggle's Protection. This is some Tindangle-y kind of support. It is Tindangle monsters in your main monster zones cannot be destroyed by battle or your opponent's card effects. And once per turn, if your Tindangle monster inflicts battle damage to your opponent, the damage is doubled. So it's a good way. Sometimes if you're flipping up some of your monsters and they're getting that 1500, you can get in a little bit of damage and it's doubled some more, plus whatever their attack is. And of course you can banish this card from your graveyard and discard 1 Tindangle card and add 1 Naggle's Protection from your deck to your hand. That's why we do have 2 of them, so if the first one goes and the second one's still in your deck, you can search it out with the first one and by discarding. Next, we're just running 2 swords. Of course, this can be teched out for pretty much anything, just kind of some extra stall power in lieu of some other cards. For some one-offs, we got Monster Reborn, pretty self-explanatory for some of the different strats. Change of Heart, figure with the Jowl stuff, it kind of fits in to be taking opponents' monsters and such. And of course, they can be face down too, so you might be able to bring them to your side of the field and flip them face up. Or if you're Book of Mooning, doing whatever strats, so that they have an even more bigger boost of attack. So say if same thing, if they have a monster with 4000 attack, you Book of Moon it, take it on your turn, and then flip it up, and it's going to have even more attack with your Terrors in the Hidden City. And then that goes away once it goes back to your opponent. Snatch Steal, of course, same kind of gist, taking their card. And the same thing, it can be a face down card, so we can do that same kind of strat to boost up their monster's attack. Moving into the traps, we have World Legacy Pawns. Like I mentioned, is searchable with that the World Arm. And it is you can target 1 face down monster you control and change it to face up attack or defense position. And you can shuffle 1 crawler monster from your graveyard into the main deck, then target 1 face up monster you control and change it to face down defense position. So what you're doing with these is getting some quick pop-offs with whatever effects. So if you have this down, and, you know, it's been activated, it gets to your turn, you can set Jowls or do whatever combo, you can summon them, then go Crawler Soma, bring out more monsters, then activate World Legacy Pawns, flip Jowls, take their monster, you know, you can pop off with a lot of combos once you get some of these on the field. And you can take it down to 2. I do like having 3 just in case, but of course they are searchable by the arm, like I said. And you can, if you have crawlers in the graveyard, you can reset some of your monsters to possibly reset off more plays. Say you have a crawler Soma, but you've already went through a lot of your monsters. You could send a crawler back to the deck to get off more crawler Soma's effects by reducing his level, bringing them right back to the field. There's a lot of combos you can go off with. Next, we're running 3 Threatening Roar. The same kind of stuff, because, of course, flip monsters can be a bit slow, so we're trying to speed that up or protect them for that one turn that we need to get them out. And, of course, with the Jowls, we can kind of subvert whatever monsters they have on the field and get around them and get that direct attack in, and then maybe do it again the next turn and, you know, win. Coming in next, 2 copies of Subterror Succession. I haven't really teched out this card too much, and it would maybe fit more if you had monsters with the same attribute as Jowls, specifically. But this is more to work around with some of the crawlers and, you know, the Tindangle monsters that do have the same attribute. Monsters that do. And what it is you can activate one of these effects. Also, after that, set this card face down instead of sending it to the graveyard. Send 1 monster from your hand or face-up field to the graveyard, and if you do, add 1 flip monster from your deck to your hand with the same attribute but a different name as the monster before it was sent to the graveyard. And then, or you could send 1 flip monster from your hand or face-up field to the graveyard, and if you do, add 1 monster from your deck to your hand with the same attribute but a lower original level. So basically, it's either getting rid of a monster to search a flip or getting rid of a flip to search a lower level monster. So you can kind of use it for different tech, and like I said, if you had maybe water monsters that were flip, or you're trying to do more specific stuff with Jowls, with this, you could kind of lean more into it. But like I said, it's a newer piece in the deck that I'm trying out. We'll see how it works. And then lastly, just a magic cylinder to kind of fit in with a bit of the burn damage and take the equalness of, you know, Snatch Steal away, which the kind of Marshmallow does. But this is a fun little bonus piece because you never know when you could get something in. Especially if, you know, you magic cylinder their 4,000 attack or something, and then you Jowls, and then you take it and then attack them directly with that 4,000 attack. You know, something funny like that. But moving into the extra deck, which still can be used, can be teched out a bit. We haven't fully fleshed it out, still trying different stuff. But we have 3 copies of X-Crawler Qualiarch, and it is 2 crawler monsters, link 2. If this face-up card is destroyed by battle or leaves the field because of an opponent's card effect while it's in its owner's control, you could target 2 crawler monsters with different names in your graveyard and special summon them in face-down defense position. So the same stuff as the smaller ones, but apply these effects based on the number of crawler monsters you control. 2+, all monsters you control gain 300 attack and defense. 4+, your opponent's cards and effects cannot be activated during the battle phase, and 6+, your monsters can attack directly. So there is different ways that we can work into that to maybe get to that 6, but it's not the main focus of the deck, but there is lots of ways to do it. And of course, he has a decent little attack and can be teched out with some of the other stuff. We will move him over here. We'll just kind of set them to the side. Next, we have 2 X-Crawler Synapsis, and this is 2 Earth monsters, which fits in, you know, with some of the stuff. Of course, the crawlers, but, you know, some of the other stuff. And crawler monsters this card points to cannot be destroyed by battle, and gain 300 attack and defense, and can make up to 2 attacks on monsters during each battle phase. And then the same stuff with the if it's destroyed. But, you know, it's another little tech piece. I figured it fits in with the crawlery stuff, plus it's another crawler monster. So if we have ways to get more stuff out, we can maybe get to that 6+, or, you know, 6, I guess. But it's part of the tech, plus you can boost some attack, maybe make some more attacks in the battle phase. Next, we're rocking 2 X-Crawler Neurogos. It is 2 insect monsters, and crawler monsters this card points to cannot be destroyed by battle, gain 300 attack and defense, and if they battle your opponent's monster, any battle damage they inflict to your opponent is doubled. So, there's lots of different tech that you can, if you get all 3 of them out, obviously, you can start to get some real weird plays kind of going out. But I figured they fit in with some of the tech, and I'd recommend some Subterror extra deck stuff. All the flip kind of stuff usually has some generic-y pieces that can fit into it. So we have the next 2 of the Geonator Transverser, card I love to throw in pretty much every deck, but it does work well in this, because, of course, what you can do is have his arrow pointing to Jowls to protect him, and then maybe flip the used up Jowls if you know, it doesn't have maybe a boost with Terrors of the Hidden City or something, or you don't have a use for him, to get rid of him, to, you know, swap for something in your opponent's controls, because it is this linked card and monsters it points to cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects, so some protection, and then if this card points to 2 monsters, you can switch control of those monsters. So, some tech to get rid of Jowls, or work with different stuff to get rid of maybe your smaller pieces. Maybe you have a Marshmallow used up, you could switch it to attack, trade it with their monster, and then just attack into it. Different stuff like that. But of course, when you're doing stuff with the Jowls, or maybe the Snatch Steel, or Change of Heart, you're going to want to maybe link off with those monsters anyway. And this is another generic piece as well that you can link off into, because it's just 2 effect monsters. Next, we have a Pit Knight Early, another just kind of generic-y one, you know, just to get in some extra stuff, plus he's pretty recyclable. Next, we have a Space Insulator, another kind of generic-y piece, nothing too fancy about it, more of just kind of using up our opponent's monster, maybe if we get the Jowls, or just extra tech to get out of stuff. The Barricade Board Blocker, of course, this can be used for Terrors of the Hidden City, you know, other continuous stuff, maybe if you have field spells in there as well, but it's just some recycling power for that, and as well as getting rid of monsters. Next we have Lib. Just threw it in there because thought, why not? And that pretty much wraps up the deck. Like I said, let me know what you think. If there's any improvements you want to see in the deck, I'm always open to ideas. You know, and if you have any ideas for other decks as well, let me know. But we're teching it out. We're trying. This is one of my favorite decks. I love the Jowls. He's such an old classic card. I think he has a lot of potential. Similar to the Dummy Golem deck. You know, I call the Dummy Golem the 5th god card, because he's like the flip gods. But they have some fun potential. Like I said, let me know how you feel about the deck. Make sure to check out my other videos. You know, I do different deck profiles pretty consistently. Yu-Gi-Oh! DIY projects, pack openings, and such, as well as other content. So make sure to check it out. You know, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that little notification bell so you know when future videos and content are coming out. And otherwise, thanks for watching. Peace.